Okay, thank you for joining me for this review of a FQ777 951W mini 4-channel 6-axis gyro quadcopter with Wi-Fi FPV and HD camera and video. Now this has been supplied courtesy of Gearbest for review, and although it says it's a mini quad, a lot of people will recognize this size as a nano quad, so I will basically be referring to it as a mini nano quad. And that, so as you can see, very small, fits in the palm of the hand quite comfortably, and that. Now basically there are many little nano quads on the market, but there are actually few that have FPV. And for anybody that doesn't know what FPV is, it stands for first person view, and it basically means that you, by utilizing the camera, you can actually pilot a craft as though you were sitting on board, so you actually see the view from the camera lens. This is mainly, I would say, for beginners or anybody wanting to sort of experiment or try or get into FPV, and also really just a fun little quad with a camera and also FPV to play around indoors. So if for frustrated flyers that can't get out because of the weather, this is a really cute little thing to play around with indoors. So yes, it comes in this box, you know, just with a little bit of vacuum packing, and the controller is in this little box here. Okay, so we get the quad itself, we get the controller, which is tiny, but then again, you know, so is the quad, but you know, still workable and manageable. You get a mount to actually mount the iPhone or an Android phone on to connect to the FPV, and also then you can get the view of it flying around. You get a Phillips star screwdriver, you get a USB charger, and this plugs into a USB or into a computer. A red light comes on, and then when the battery is charged, the light goes off. Okay, we get an instruction manual. Now it's quite a detailed instruction manual, you know, and fairly comprehensive. You know, tells you you know, what the components are. It also tells you, you know, the operation of the controller and the functions, you know, how to charge, fit the batteries, how to charge batteries. Now quite importantly, it also tells you how to do the calibration, because normally with these little nano quads, they can be a little bit problematic to get it to balance. But this is a 6-axis gyro, which is very good for a tiny little quad this size, so it should be quite stable. And the fact that when you calibrate it, you shouldn't have any issues with it veering off in different directions and have to trim it, if you have to trim it at all. Okay, now just one thing, it does make reference to an SD card for the camera, but I've had a look at this, and the only place an SD card can go is over here, but an SD card does not fit in here. But don't worry about that, because the good news is you can take pictures and you can record video on your phone. And although it only says, you know, you can use it, use a phone, an iPhone or an Android phone, the good news is, and the reason we've got the iPad here, is that you can also use an iPad or an Android tablet. So if you want a bigger screen and a bigger view, okay, obviously the iPad won't fit into the mount, but it's very good to know that it also connects to an iPad or to an Android enabled tablet. Okay, so we also get 4 spare propellers, so little tiny props, but always good to have spare propellers. We get 2 screws. We actually really need one spare screw, and then we actually get 6 prop guards. Okay, so only 4 prop guards fit on, and 2 prop guards are spare. So the prop guards fit on and clip on to these little white things here, so you have to just get it in there, press down quite hard and get it to clip in. Okay, and with this little one I actually do recommend that you use the prop guards, especially if you're flying indoors, because you know it is good and these little propellers can get damaged quite easily. So the prop guards are good and they actually fit on very firmly and offer quite a lot of protection. So let me just put the other prop guards on quickly. Okay, so this is the prop guards on. Okay, so if we have a closer look at the quad, that's what it looks like with the prop guards on. So you know, with the prop guards on, fits in about the size of my hand. Now this is very light, the battery is already in, so let's have a look and have a quick look and see how much it weighs. Okay, so it only weighs 20 grams. Okay, now it's got a nice finish to it. You know, it almost looks as though it's metal, but it's actually made from ABS and PS plastic and alloy, but it really got a nice sort of metallic finish to it with the logo FQ777. You get various models and ranges of FQ777 excuse me, but this one is the 951W version. And if we have a closer look at the props are a little bit flexible, but quite rigid. So although we get spare props, these can get damaged, and it tells you in the instruction manual how to replace it. These just clip on and clip off. Okay. Over here we've got the battery in the battery bay. Okay, and this just slots in there. This wire here is the aerial antenna. So this needs to be left out so it binds with the TX or controller. Okay. Now there's nice little rubber mounts on the bottom, so you know, especially if you're on a hard surface and you go down and hit the floor, this will absorb impacts a little bit. Otherwise, you know, it's a very strong, sturdy little thing, could easily fit into a pocket, and that. Now the camera is a 30W, so basically a 0.3 pixel HD camera, and records at 720p. Okay, and as I mentioned before, you know, fortunately it doesn't look as though an SD card fits in here. That's it. Okay. Then you get the controller. Now to mount the phone onto here, so you can see on the screen, there's a special little bracket. Okay, so this bracket goes on here, so there's 2 little holes and there's 2 little pins that clips into, and it goes onto the back here. Okay, now I've put batteries in here already. So you need to supply 3 AAA batteries, not AA batteries, and they go in there. Make sure you put them in the correct way around. This clips here. Then put this bracket on here, okay, and then with a single screw, that is supplied and you've got a spare one, just screw it in, and that keeps this mount on this controller, and also secures the battery bay door. Then this just clips into here. Okay, and then if you take your mobile phone, you just slot it in to here. Let's just get it in. Okay, so that's it, and it actually holds quite securely. Okay, and this little mount is adjustable and quite rigid, so it's not going to just flex. So you know, this is quite strong and sturdy. So obviously depending on how heavy your phone are and everything like that, but essentially this is what this will be like. Okay, so on the controller we have the on-off button here. Okay, now the button on the top here is for the camera, a short press to take a picture and a long press for video. But this doesn't work because I don't see the SD card slot to function. But like I said, the good news is you can record on the phone or on a tablet. This little button here is your roll button, so you press it and you can do your flips and you can do your rolls. Now this really only works in 60% or 100% rate, so don't really try it on 30%. And this button here is for your 3-speed rate, so you have 30% far left, 60% in the middle, and 100% to the right. So we'll put it back down to 30%. Okay, and then we have our trim buttons. So this one in the middle here, that forward trim and backward, so forward movement, backward movement. So if it takes off and it's going too far forward, you can set it back, and vice versa. The trim button on the left here is if it's turning too much to the left or too much to the right, you can adjust that. And this one over here is for the sideways movement, or it's called crab trim. You know, if it's you're going too much to the left and too right, so not turning and arcing but just moving completely sideways. So that's it. Now with this you also get a sheet of paper, and these are the operation instructions on how to connect your mobile phone to Wi-Fi for the FPV. You can either go scan the QR code, or you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download and install Wi-Fi UFO app. Okay, and as I said earlier as well, you can also do this on a iPad or an Android tablet if you would like to as well. Now it works with the controller, but on the app as well, you can actually use your mobile phone as a controller. So it does give you details and tell you how you can work that. So basically the first thing we need to do is connect up to Wi-Fi. So let me just get this phone on. Okay, now I'm going to show you this on the tablet rather than the phone, because that should be easier to see. So just bear with me and hope you can see this okay. Okay, so on your phone or your tablet, you go to the settings. You need to go to where you connect to Wi-Fi, but before you do that, you actually need to turn the quad on. So you take the battery, and just over here on the top of the battery, right at the very top on the battery bay, you need to plug in the battery, because this needs to broadcast the Wi-Fi signal for it to connect to the Wi-Fi. So there you go, you can see it's connected. The lights come on, 2 red lights in the front, 2 blue lights at the back. So we'll put that down there for now. Okay. Then I'm going to bind with the quad, with the controller. Let's get back to these things. So if we have a look now, if you can see over here, on your list of available wireless networks, this one says Wi-Fi UFO -60650B. So I want to connect onto that. It's connecting at the moment. Okay, and now it is showing as connected. Okay, and then when you download the app, you'll get an icon on your desktop saying Wi-Fi UFO. You click on that and go into that, and it looks like that. So this is a bigger version on the tablet rather than your phone. Then when you press play, you'll have a look here, and instantly connected to Wi-Fi. So that's the picture showing the camera view on the mini quad itself. So there we go, that's connected to Wi-Fi, and I can do this. I do exactly the same thing on my phone. Let me just get into it. So this is a little bit more difficult to see, but I've got the same icon and app to the Wi-Fi UFO. But let me just make sure in my settings that I'm connected to it. So I think it connects automatically once you put it in and it is switched on. No, it's not, so but just go connect to there. Okay, the phone says it's connected now to the Wi-Fi as well. Start the app up and then press play, and there. Now various things, it tells you 30%. I'll rather show you on the tablet. Okay, so on the tablet, just get it into view. Okay, now if you want to use your mobile phone or use a tablet to control it, you press the off button there, and then as you can see here, you now get the controls to use the tablet or your phone as a controller. To go back to using the hand controller, just go off and then back, and we can see the picture there again. You can actually change your speeds. There's 30%, 60%, and 100%. Okay. Then to take a picture, just press that. So would like to access your photos, yes, so it's taken a picture. And then to take a video, you press the camera icon there, and as you can see, it's showing you now that it's a recording. So we'll switch that off for now. Okay. There's a settings button with various settings. Now there's not much information available about the various settings on this, so I'm not really sure, you know, what that is for or that at this stage, but hopefully, you know, there'll be more information available on what's that. But basically, you know, this is all we need to get it going and to fly. So once we're connected, we can see the FPV. So if you're using a phone rather than a tablet, that's it. Okay, so I'll do a quick little test flight indoors, then I'll show you what it looks like in the dark, and then we'll also do an outdoor flight. So we connect to Wi-Fi, we can see the picture on the screen. Okay, we need to bind with the quad, so switch the controller on, move the throttle lever up, back down, it beeps and the lights go solid and it's bound. Now importantly, we want to do the calibration, and to do the calibration, move both sticks down and outwards to either side at a 45-degree angle. It beeps and the lights start flashing, then goes solid, and that shows that it is now calibrated. Okay, now we also want to just check the fail safe. So we want to know what will happen if it loses contact with the controller. Okay, and so we'll start up the motors, we'll turn the controller off. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1000. Okay, so about 3 seconds, and then the quad will power down and drop wherever it is, so it will not continue flying and fly away. Okay, and let's turn the video on and start recording. Okay, showing me that it's recording. And this is what it looks like in the dark. Quite steady. Quite nice, quite impressive for Nano, holding quite steady. Okay, lights blinking, no battery. There we go, quite impressive. Okay, let's see how it flies outdoors.